All right, welcome to episode 3 of Glock Kosher Money. I know all of you have been waiting for this day to finally come. We have Rabbi Wittow back after a long Bein Hazmanim. How was your Bein Hazmanim, Rabbi Wittow?
I had a very good Pesach.
I had a very nice Pesach. Well, it's good to have you back.
I sat and learned most of the time, and I was busy rewriting a book that I'm working on.
Okay. If you want his book about the stock market, what is your book?
No. There's a book about...
You didn't write a book on the stock market yet?
No, not yet. I don't think I will, because I don't... this is a book about Rav Dov Schwartzman.
Okay.
So the original book was put out a little over 10 years ago, and it's out of print, and I'm rewriting it.
So Rabbi Wittow is a prolific author. He's written how many books already?
Six for him.
And he's also, people were very interested in this, that when I first talked to him, that he, besides collecting money for his kollel, he also invests in the stock market in tandem to pay off your kollel, right? Because you pay approximately, he told me, how many dollars do you pay a year?
About 700, what, a year
How
or
many
a month?
years, a month? How many dollars do you pay a month out to your kollel?
Every month it's about $12,000.
$12,000. It's roughly like 40,000 shekel here in Israel. Maybe a little more.
Yeah, about that.
So, Rabbi Wittow showed me his portfolio. I want to just make mention, there's another podcast. It's probably based on this. It's also called Kosher Money, different channel. And they talk about advice, financial advice for Jewish people, the Jewish Orthodox world. I call mine Glock Kosher Money because I'm dealing with the Haredi world or the ultra-Orthodox world. So we have a little different set of rules. But it was very interesting. So Rabbi Wittow, he has this big stock portfolio because someone gave him a portfolio worth roughly around how much was it worth?
Somebody gave us a sum of money, let's say about 5 years ago, and I could tell you a quick history of what happened. I was not interested in being involved in investing the money, and I found somebody, I won't mention his name, and he was highly recommended. He was a very firm person, and he has a degree in economics from Harvard, and he...
How did you find this person?
I have a friend, a mutual friend. And
he agreed to do this for free?
No. He took he took 1.5% of the portfolio to set up of the total, which was...
Where does this person live?
New York.
New York. Okay.
I didn't meet him until... So anyway, he took care of it. So I paid him this 1.5% to invest to set up the portfolio, and then we had an agreement that 6 times a year I could speak to him, and he would change the portfolio 6 times a year. That I would take out money, and with those funds I would hopefully use to support part of the kollel. Now, what happened was he invested the kollel 70% in bonds and 30% in stocks, which is considered to be a very conservative portfolio.
Very conservative. Bonds
are... Now, as things kept going up before the corona situation, so I told him that I kept complaining that it wasn't going up so much. He said, because it's such a conservative portfolio. So we put 40% in the stock market, and then and 60% in bonds.
How much was the original? Can I ask you how much
it was? It was close to $1 million.
Close to $1 million in this portfolio.
Let's say it was 900. When he started the portfolio, it was $900,000. Now this was all in a 501c account, which means it's non-taxable. But it means now my accountant told me not to put it in the market. I should just use hard money lending. In hard money lending, they usually pay between 12 and 13%. And the people that I spoke to were very, very much against that. Because they say
hard
money, what it means is that if certain people can't get a loan from the bank,
right.
Big investors, they have too many loans for certain reasons, so they're willing to pay a high amount of interest to borrow money for a short period of time. So there's a shook that people lend money to individuals and they get collateral. Let's say it's usually real estate, people in real estate, and they get collateral. They get a lien on the property.
So you're going to lend money out to other people?
It's a whole business. People do it. You get between 12 and 13% interest.
Just lending upon ribbis?
No, because what you do is you write a heteriska, And my accountant said, listen, he does it. He's never had a problem. And 13% interest, we would have made enough that I pretty much would have been able to support the COLA with the interest. Now, a few of my friends,
So
I don't want to
make
make
this.
I'm going to explain.
sorry, yeah.
So a few of my friends who are very, very Erlicha people and have a lot more experience with these things than I do, said, Shmuel, don't do it. Because if there's any problems with these investments, so it could take you between 5 and 10 years to get the Karen back, to get the principal back. And even though you have a lien on the property in real estate, if something goes wrong, see, real estate is not considered to be liquid, which means that if you want to get your money out of real estate, you might have to wait years and years.
Right.
You just can't sell a property sometimes, and especially if there's a legal problem. The reason why these people are taking a loan from individuals and paying high interest is because, for different reasons, they can't get a loan from the bank. So if one of these hard money loaning situations goes bad, you might lose the Karen for 5 years, and you might never get it back.
And the principal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in short, my very good friends who are big tzaddikim and have a lot of experience in these things told me don't do it. So they suggested this Ploni Almoni, this person. So I paid him 1.5%. He set up the portfolio, and we were doing like 8, 9, 10% in the first year. And then I have a friend. I don't know if he would appreciate me mentioning his name. He's a big time gvir, and he has a hedge fund.
Okay.
And another person, they both said that the stock market just can't keep going up, and there's going to be a big correction.
Okay.
And it's going to go down at least 20%. So I told this guy who's heading the portfolio.
And he didn't think this. The guy heading the portfolio.
So I told him, listen, I want you to take all the money out of the stocks and just leave it in cash for. So he said, listen, Shmuel, one thing that they tell you you never try and do is second guess the market or time the market. Real investors never try and time the market, because really the market is something that no one has any idea what's going to happen, and that's why a lot of people think that investing money is like betting, but it's really not. There's a science to it, and somebody that really understands investing money can make a lot of money. But you never try and second guess the stock market. And the guy said, listen, I was paying him a lot of money, and I only had 6 opportunities a year.
You say you're paying 1.5%, that means a year?
Yeah.
Or on the profits?
No, 1.5% a year. The second year he took only 0.75% after he spent the time making the portfolio. But even still, I did some research, and that's like top fee. That's like a top fee. That's what, this is most people don't take an investment of less than $1 million, and 1.5% for a not so actively involved portfolio is a lot of money.
So I just want to point out one thing. This other show had this guest on. His name was Rabbi Horowitz, Naftali Horowitz, or Mark Horowitz in the business world. He is one of these large-time, people for high net worth individuals, financial advisors, with JP Morgan Chase. He basically gave the advice. He says, they had him on 2 episodes. He says basically the best advice I give you is to invest in an index fund, S&P 500. You're better than 95%.
That's definitely the best advice you could get.
If that's true,
let me explain. So I'll make it very short. So what happened was I told the guy to take the money out because I trust my friend and my 2 friends who are big investors. And I said, listen, I'm making a very big mistake. So because you don't try and second guess the market. I'll explain about index funds in a minute. So anyway, I said, listen, I'm paying you to do this, so do it. So he got very upset, and he did it. And then of my 6 times to speak to him, I only had 1 time left. So this was like 6 months before Corona.
You only get 6 times to speak to him on the phone?
No, 6 times to change to make any changes in the portfolio.
And he has to listen to you, whatever changes
No. If let's say I want to take 6 times a year, I could say I need $20,000.
Oh,
so they would say, okay, right.
Oh.
So in order for him to take up money, he has to change the portfolio. It takes his time. So included in so this is the deal we made. Mm-hmm. So I can only take money out of the portfolio 6 times a year. Now this was like maybe 2 years into the story, and he said, so finally he did it, and the market kept going up. So I asked my friend, okay, look, since the market's still going up, well, what should I do? So he told me, okay, so put your money slowly back in the market, put a quarter of the money back in every quarter, but wait, because I still see there's going to be a big correction.
Mm-hmm.
And also my friend, who is like a big time person, also said to my son that it's going to be a big correction. Then Corona happened, and the portfolio went bonds, stocks. My uncle, who's also in investments, told me that when there's a recession or something terrible happens, so it's like taking the stopper out of the bathtub. Everything goes down, not just stocks, bonds also.
So your portfolio at that time was valued at how much before Corona?
Before Corona, $790,000, $800,000,
and it went down to
$540,000.
Wow.
Now,
what was your reaction at that point?
So my reaction was, so first of all, I called him up. I said, listen, why didn't you make some changes? You don't see what's happening? So he says, listen, you're paying me. So right now, you never try and second guess the market. So and anyway, if you need money right now, you only have one more time to do something, and then you have to start paying me every time you want me to make any changes.
How much would you have to pay him to make a change?
I don't know. It never happened.
Okay.
So I told him, okay, listen, I'm firing you. No, so I said, why didn't you tell me? I didn't. One of the reasons I did is because I didn't want to have to look at the stock market every day.
He's not responsible. The stock market collapses like that. He's not responsible at all.
He is responsible.
Have to pay him the 1.5%. So what responsibility
because
does he have?
he held that it was a long term. It was investments that would come back, and he held it was not a good time to take the money out when everything went down so much.
Does he have any liability? People like that, they have liability?
No.
They don't have liability.
There's a fiduciary, there's some kind of, I forget what it's said, but nobody can promise you any money, any promises in the stock market, because it's literally, even the best of the best lose their shirts sometimes. Mm-hmm. So basically, I fired him, and I took the money out. I waited till it went up a little bit, took all the money out, and then, since Corona, which is 2020, I've been running the portfolio. Now, first of all, I built the portfolio back from $540,000 to $770,000. And
part of that was that the coronavirus, the market jumped back,
after the recession. So first of all, it's true that the year after the Corona, the market came up in a way that is unusual, and I had tremendous siyata d'shmaya, because first of all, I started listening to podcasts and started listening.
What podcast do you listen to?
I personally listen to IBD, Investor Business Daily.
And you have to pay for that?
No.
Okay,
and then podcast. I listen to Jim Cramer every day, which is like I'm driving to the Kollel or the bathroom.
He has his picks for every day, like what a pick for the market?
He just gives. Yeah, he gives some. I didn't pay him, and then I did pay money to the Motley Fool, and the Motley Fool is one of these investors things, and I have to say that in the beginning I had tremendous siyata d'shmaya. I did this thing where
you paid them, right?
Yeah, it cost $1,400 a year.
$1,400 a year?
Yeah.
And what do they do? They give you stock picks every day?
First of all, most of these things they have 600,000 people that pay them or more, and it's definitely worthwhile. And what they do is they have one of the things I didn't like about them is that after I paid them, they wanted me to pay them for something else, and I only bought one of their services, and they have 5 services. So anyway, this service, the idea was that they choose 40 stocks, and they basically are under the impression that of these 40 stocks, at least 8 of them are going to become 10 bangers, which are going to go up more than 10 times.
And these are stocks that are relatively unknown to most people.
They're not necessarily. No, they're not blue chip stocks, but they were all high-tech, fintech type of stocks. And you're supposed to put $2,000 in 20 of them, which is an initial investment of $40,000. Right. And then for 5 years, they follow them. They tell you which ones to stop. If they suggest another one, which ones they take off the list. So I put $40,000 of the investment into these stocks.
They give you a choice of stocks.
Exactly
which 20.
Exactly which 20.
Exactly.
They give you 40, and they say you determine out of these 40, choose at least 20. Okay. And if you want, choose all 40. Okay. And now these stocks went up. Some of them went up between 60 and 80%.
What were some of the stocks that did really well?
Upstart was one of their stocks. Lemonade, I could show you the list. I sent the list to my friends.
It's interesting because as opposed to other podcasts like this from Tali Horowitz, who refuse to give you any particular pick.
No,
we have Rabbi Wittow is going to give you picks.
No, you
I'm
look
joking.
at listen.
Of course, I want to make a disclaimer. Anything we're going to talk about over here is he's not giving advice. We're not qualified to give advice. I don't know, maybe Rabbi Wittow is more qualified than me. But we're not giving advice. We do not bury you. If you take risks in the market, you buy stocks, it's at your risk. You can lose a lot of money. So there's a disclaimer over here.
Right. The other person I listen to, and I really think he's very, very good. I don't listen to him every day. He gives a lot of a lot of YouTubes. His name is Meet Kevin. He's this young guy.
M-E-A-T?
No, the name of his YouTube is Meet, like M-E-E-T, like to meet somebody.
Meet Kevin.
Meet Kevin. Okay. So this guy, he's a millennial.
I heard he's
a young guy.
Right?
No. This guy's not Jewish. No. There's something like that.
Okay, all right.
And he made, I think, $30 or $40 million in the stock market from nothing. And the guy's
what do you mean from nothing? What does that mean from nothing? How much did he start with?
Nothing.
Because
he started working out.
I have $3,000 in a
He started with $3,000.
$3,000, I can make $30 or $40 million. How long did it take him to make $30 or $40 million? This is what I want to talk about.
Listen to the story, okay? Now, so first advice I would say to anybody that doesn't know about investing. Now, my father was a stock market. And it was I grew up. My father went to Harvard, a business school. My father was a stock broker, and my father made literally billions. He became very, very wealthy. We were in the beginning. We had almost no. We were very, very poor. My mother was a school teacher. She was really an artist, but she couldn't spend time painting because she had to support the family. My father borrowed money from his shver, and eventually my father made it very big in the investment world, and he was a very wealthy man.
What types of? This was how many years ago?
This was in the 60s, in the 60s and 70s. He was when Mattel Toys went public. Yeah. He was one of the 2 stockbrokers that sold Mattel Toys.
And he invested heavily in that. And
no, I think when you were in those days when an IPO came out, the brokers back then they made like 5% on stocks. I think even more. And the people that were the original brokers for a stock when it first came out could not invest in it. So he didn't invest in it, but he made a lot of money because everybody that bought Mattel Toys could only buy through him.
So he sold stock.
Right. No, he was a broker. But he was every broker makes their money by investing their own money. That's the way you make really big money. It's just like a doctor. Anybody
money to be able to purchase the shares to offer them to other people, right?
No, you have tips. You feel you have your own money. You make
his
money.
Own money he invested in stocks.
That's how everybody in stocks. Now the first so basically I got thrown into this because I didn't like the guy he didn't listen to me, and he was literally angry at me because I didn't listen to him, and he literally let he could have taken the money the next day when the market fell by Corona. It went down 800 points, 1,000 points, another 1,000 points. At any schlob, and when it started going up a little bit, I took the money out, and then it went down another 10%. And then I started listening to these podcasts. I bought Teladoc. I bought Levidco. I think there was a company that went up 300%.
What types of companies are these? Are these tech companies?
No, there was a company. It got bought out by Teladoc.
And this you learned from Meet Kevin on the
podcast? No. That was Meet Kevin. I only started listening to later. Oh. I listened to Jim Cramer, and I listened to. I was following some of the stocks. He didn't buy individual stocks. This guy. He only put the money in mutual funds. Now, first of all, the first advice I would say is that if you don't know anything about investing, you should buy the S&P, buy an index fund, and that's the safest way. And 90% of the hedge funds do not do better than the S&P. So why do people invest?
Yes. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. What's the question? Let's see why people buy individual stocks. Let's hear.
Because if you do well choosing individual stocks, you can make
a lot of money.
A lot of money. Okay. I bought Tesla at $100 a share. Even before this whole thing started, I did this. It was really a scam, and I'm doing tshuva because I did it. But they had this thing called federal benefits. So I have bli ayin hora, a lot of children. I don't want to say on TV on how many children I have. We have a lot of children, bli ayin hora, and I got $24,000 from the U.S. government because of these federal.
Because the stimulus payment.
No. Oh. Americans, if you work, so they had this. This is about 15 years ago. They had this thing that that you sign up for federal benefits. They give you $1,000 a child, and you can get for like 3 years back. So let's say I had 10 children, so that's that's $10,000, and you could get for 2 years previously. So I got $24,000 to the United States government, and then I found out that being a kol avrech does not really allow you to get these funds, and the person that was doing it, thousands of people did it in Israel, was really not erlech, so I stopped doing it. And
people do this every year, technically?
Every year, a lot of people do it. They still do it. But you have to have a real job where your employer is paying benefits for you. And it's not legal for kol avrechim, so I stopped doing it right away. And anybody that thinks it's legal for kol avrechim, I think now they don't do it anymore because they caught enough people and they made them give back the money.
This is what's called glad kosher money.
That's right.
Even though other people would be, they would forego the whatever.
No, so
guilty
anyways,
about
right,
this.
Right, no.
If you're a glad kosher money, you're already.
No, so right away I never did it again, and I wasn't going to give the money back, but so this was way back before. This was back. I was going to raise money every year for my kolo. Mm-hmm. So this money, I bought Apple, I bought AT&T, and I bought Tesla, and I bought another company called MT.
How many years ago was
this is about 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Tesla, I bought it 100. I sold it 140. Apple, I also made like 40% on Apple. And
if you would have Tesla,
if I would
1,000,
right? No, if I would, I used this money to marry off my first daughter. But I did tremendously well. And I had a friend who's a stockbroker, and I always found that the stocks that I chose did much better than the stocks that he suggested. And he took 2%. And later I found out that once I got this money, that if I put all the money in Fidelity, so Fidelity can buy and sell for free. Mm-hmm. So I did have like a little. So one of the things I bought was Tesla, and before it split back then, and I bought these Motley Fool stocks. They did tremendously well. Now they're all down.
All right, so let's get back to the present, right? So now the present day is. You had this large portfolio, went down during Corona.
Right.
Now you invested the money again in the middle of Corona. You took it out.
No, I didn't take it out. It's all in the market right now.
I know. I'm saying you took it out from this personal investor.
Right.
And you
this
took it
financial
into your
advisor.
control.
Right.
And you invested the money. It went up from 540,000 to 770,000, something like that.
760 maybe.
Right.
Yeah, but then I had to take out every year.
And this was all based on investing in a lot of stocks at the Motley Fool, which
no,
not necessarily based on that.
No.
What is your strategy? I'm saying obviously you pick a lot of stock. You don't just invest in the S&P 500. You do this Motley Fool.
You pick
a lot of individual stocks, right? Because you think you can do better than those 90%.
I was doing 20%.
You feel that you could do better.
I was doing 27% a year.
But
for 2 years.
But that was including Corona when it went up. Also, no.
Right.
I'm saying that everyone went up for Corona. All the stocks went up.
Not necessarily. I mean, not 27%.
So do you think you give your special siyata d'shmaya that you're able to do this better than hedge funds? 90% of the hedge funds, he said. 95% of the people.
The S&P also went up quite a bit during that too. I was doing went up 12. I have no idea what.
So why don't you invest?
Because the difference is the S&P is for a long-term investment. I need to take out $12,000 every month. In other words, I'm using this money. I'm working with this money, and I'm constantly. There was a period of time where every 2 weeks I was selling everything on Thursday. Every 2 weeks I took everything out of the market.
Now,
and started over again.
You told me that. How many times a year do you have to take out money out of the market?
Every month I have to take out.
Every month he has to pay, and you have to take out close to $12,000 every month to pay the avrich, right?
Right. So basically I'm taking the Karen, and bit by bit the Karen is going down. Eventually it will be down to zero.
Now the stock market is doing pretty bad over the last month,
very bad.
A couple months.
So now I have everything.
So what do you do now? And first of all, you told me, I just want to share something that you told me the other day. You told me that you will not sell a stock until you get a profit of 25%, right?
So I have a rule. The first thing is if a person invests in the stock market, he has to have rules.
Right.
And he cannot be at all, his emotions can make absolutely he doesn't act according to his emotions. You have to have rules. So I tried, and one of the things that I used to do, and that saved me from losing a lot of money, was what's called a stop loss order, because I don't spend all day sitting and looking at the stock market. I learn, and
It's a full-time Rosh Kollel. I
that's
see with my
full-time.
own eyes. He gives shiurim. How many times a week he gives shiurim?
3 or 4 times a
Three,
week.
4 times a week he gives shiurim. He's actively involved with Avreichim over here. He goes and talks to them and learning all the time.
When I'm driving or when I'm in the bathroom, I listen to a little bit of stock market, and I look 1 or 2 times a day, 3 times a day at the portfolio, what's happening. So you can put when you buy a stock, you can. My rules are
That's your
that
rules,
every time a stock goes up, say between 18 and 20%, I sell.
You said only 25%.
Or 25%. It doesn't matter.
But that can take a long time.
No, because now let me just finish. Okay.
Go.
And anytime a stock goes down 5%, I sell.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to have what was called a stop loss. So let's say you buy a stock. So automatically, if it goes down to a certain amount, you sell. But I stopped doing that a long time ago because the market became so volatile that in one day a stock could go make a 5% downturn or upturn in one day 3 times. Now I think in the previous history of the stock market it never happened like that. But recently in the last year, 2 years, the stock market has become tremendously volatile. And many times because I had this stop loss, I found myself out of a stock when I never really wanted to sell it. And just because it was a volatile day, the market, we've had days, the stock market has gone down 800 points, come back, and it's moved 1,200, 1,500 points in one day, which never happened, I think, in the past.
Who told you to come with these rules at 5%? You sell
IBD,
25%.
basically, IBD. I heard people, and if
Isn't
you
that-
consistently do this, so you'll come out tremendously ahead.
I understand, but
You have to choose the right stocks.
I personally, I have a little investment in the stock market, like $3,000 personally right now, and the way I work, I'm also like a swing trader. I don't know if people know about swing trading so much, not talked about too much. People know about day trading, where you trade a little bit.
Most day traders lose.
And then you know also about most investors will tell you to put in the S&P 500 for 40 years and allocate for 40 years. The problem with that is, what if you need the money? And second of all, you cannot become rich doing that. You will become rich in 40 years. You'll marry off your grandkids in 40 years, but you'll be paying medical bills for yourself. And marry off your grandchildren, I don't know if you'll be able to get there, maybe be in a wheelchair.
That's a person that's investing in his retirement.
I understand, but what about living day-to-day life? You know, I heard in this podcast, he said, how could dare people eat a cheesecake every morning? It's a grievance, because if you save $5 every day, that's 365 days a year, $5, $1,500 a year, put it in the S&P 500 in 40 years, you know it could be worth, but what about those 40 years? That's my problem. I want the 40 years.
Okay, so he's 100% right.
He's 100% right.
You should learn Musar. You should not eat. You should learn Mesilas Yesharim, learn Chovos Levavos, and you should not. A person should work on himself, that he needs less physical, and he should make ruchnis more important. Read my book,
Wait, what's the book called? About
Mem Ches Kinyani Torah.
No,
Mem Ches Kinyani Torah. It's one of the Sforim I wrote in English and in Hebrew. They're both out of print, and a person also needs to know a very important thing.
This is your philosophy. My philosophy is you have to enjoy life.
So listen, enjoying life means learning Torah and doing spiritual, enjoying spiritually.
Also, no.
No.
There's no point in physical enjoyment in life.
It's not that there's no point, but it's not the ikr. If a person makes physical enjoyments the most important thing in his life, he's going to come to the next world and be very disappointed. That you can put on your podcast. Very disappointed.
This is, I mean, you're saying.
I'm saying, I want you, everybody should know that, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us a neshama, and the purpose of our neshama is to elevate it to become a beacon of light to teach people about Hashem. And Hashem doesn't want people to be.
I'll tell you,
first Ramban in Parshas Kedoshim. Just learn the first
Ramban.
But
I did hear from my Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Yaakov Friedman. He said that
he's a young
that's what he said. He said many times. He said that according to all Achronim and according to almost all the Rishonim, he said Olam Haba and Chiyas HaMeisim is baguf. It's physical.
Yeah, it's body. It's physical.
It's physical. So shouldn't we be? The way to get there is to perfect our ability to enjoy this world.
No, we should eat. We could
the more
eat
we
more.
earn.
We should learn to eat more and drink more.
What you like. To eat foods that you like. That's a big avoda.
Ezet tzaddik, a kovish es yitzra.
Right, but don't you agree with me?
We can only know what Chazal say.
No, but what is the Yetzer Hara? The Yetzer Hara is telling you every time you eat is it's a good thing. We think it's a bad thing to eat. That's where the my view. I'll tell you my view. This is really your show. I'm interviewing you, but But really, my view, just to throw it in for that the Yetzer Hara is trying to tell you not to enjoy this world, but the Yetzer Hara's test is trying to tell you to enjoy the wrong things. Right? You have to perfect it to find some things are really disgusting foods, and some things are things that I really like. And Hashem wants you to find those things. Not telling you avoid the physical world. It's telling you
there are certain times when Hashem wants you to be misanig al Hashem. On Shabbos, you should have oneg Shabbos. The rest of the week, you should.
Shabbos is main olam haba.
Okay.
So physical enjoyment, we should figure out the rest of the week how to enjoy.
No, this world was created in order to serve Hashem. Okay. We went out of Mitzrayim to be Avdi Hashem. And
you hold that it's good to be Eved Hashem or Ben Chorim. Which one is better?
Ben Chorim is somebody that knows that the ultimate purpose of life is to grow spiritually, and that means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want us to be celibates. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to. He gave us the ability to elevate our neshama and to do mitzvahs and to gain olam haba. But the Yetzer Hara is only coming to tell you one thing.
You're going to get Olam Haba for spiritual pursuits are going to translate into physical enjoyments in Olam Haba and Chesed Mesa?
Yes.
Is that a lie? Is that
yes, sure, that's
that
true.
makes sense to you?
It's not a question of making sense. Somebody who doesn't think so never doesn't understand Chazal. The purpose of everybody agrees that the reason why the neshama there's two the world life is a constant battle. The constant battle is you have the physical, which brings us down, and the spiritual that brings us up. As much as a person is neshamadik, and he listens to his neshama, so then he's going to be closer to Hashem. The person that becomes more physical is going to become further away from Hashem. This it says in every single Chazal, in every single Sefer. Now, sometimes there are some people that have to water down Chazals in order to get people to learn. But nobody that ever learned Torah ever thought differently than what I'm saying. Because every single Chazal says the same thing. Chovos Havavos, Mesilas Yesharim, Shari Tshuva, Masechtas Bruchas, every single Sefer, because the purpose of Bechira is to choose to do Hashem's will. And Hashem wants us only to do mitzvahs. Now that doesn't mean pas b'melech tochel. Now that doesn't mean you have to eat dry bread and water. It means you have to be ready to eat bread and ready to give up everything to learn Torah. Otherwise, you're not really shaykh to Torah.
So this gets back to the idea of kollel, right?
We really left the subject.
No, anyway, I just want to round up, just finish up.
So I'm just saying.
Because you said originally, when we started talking about this, that the whole reason you engage in the stock market is you believe, based on a steer in the Rambam, the way Rav Chaim Kanievsky answered it, is that you should do a little hishtadlus.
Right, you have to do a little hishtadlus. There's a machlokas.
So you're saying your little hishtadlus is to work in the stock market. Now the stock market.
No, that only was because during Corona for 2 years I couldn't go to Chutz La'aretz to raise money. I never called anybody on the phone, so I found myself stuck. That the only way I could support my kollel was to take over this portfolio and invest the money.
And now that you can fly, it's considered hishtadlus to go to the Gvirim's houses. Is that the way you understand it?
Twice a year for a month.
You wouldn't say that's considered taking staka?
No, ma pitom. The reason why Kadosh Baruch Hu created money was to give the people the schus to support Torah. And anybody thinks different is an apikoros.
What?
A reason why Kadosh Baruch Hu gives people money is in order to support people to learn Torah. That's what it says in Chazal. The biggest schus you can have in the world is to support Torah. And a person that doesn't support Torah and has money will have is not using his money for the purpose of why.
So when you collect money for your kollel, that's not called taking stuff.
Ma pitom.
No.
I'm giving them the schus to support Talmidei Chachamim. So I'm doing them a favor.
So what was the hishtadlus about the stock market? I don't understand that.
Because I couldn't go to America. And I had to pay the whole time for I've had a call for 30 years. I've never been late paying my avrechim. I personally borrowed money to support my avrechim.
So your hashkafa was the same the whole time.
That's right. Nothing ever changed.
Going collecting in America is completely legit.
It's not a question of being legit. All the money I raised, I never took 49% of the money.
Right, you never took money.
I took enough to live on. But when I talk about living, my wife has a gan. She's a ganenet. She's my age and she's still working. And 80% of our parnasa comes from my wife's gan.
When was the last time you had a steak? Rib steak? You know what a rib steak?
Yeah, no, I had maybe
When was the last time you had lamb chops?
lamb chops. I had Erev Pesach.
Really?
No, for my son's birthday,
Yeah.
I spent 1,000 shekels, which is like $300,
Yeah.
on fresh.
Lamb chops?
It wasn't lamb actually. It was egel. It was what did I say? Egel
Calf.
in English, calf. It was a freshly shechted calf because
Veal.
veal.
Yeah.
So I spent about $250 on fresh veal, and over $150 we had a barbecue. I made a surprise for my son because I know that that's what my son would have
How old
liked.
is your son?
20. He's 32.
He's married?
He's married. He has children.
No, I want to just tell you, I just had a
Tzaddik.
birthday party, my 40th birthday party.
Wow.
I took me and 5
that's
other people
a-
out. Guess what the bill was? Went to Entrico, there's a steakhouse here.
Yeah.
We
It's
spent
like $100 a person.
2,750 shekel, not including the tip. That's
no.
around $900.
Yeah, okay,
Was
but
that good? Good idea.
no. Listen, once in a while, you ask me when was the last time I had a steak. I personally eat meat. I don't eat meat 3 times a year. I don't eat meat. Meat's not good for me. It doesn't. At this, I love pizza. I love falafel. But I only eat what's healthy for me. I try and be very healthy. I don't. On Shabbos, I eat a little bit of meat. I've lowered my cholesterol to like 112 just by my diet. I exercise. I try and be healthy, and I'm not. I'm not saying I'm a tzaddik, but in short, I found myself in a situation where I didn't know another way to raise money. I didn't think it was a good idea to call people on the phone because I always thought that next month Corona will end, and then a guy will give me a third of what he gave me, and I don't go to people more than once a year. And I didn't want to call people, so I didn't go to people. I didn't call people on the phone.
People get angry at you when you.
No,
come to
people
their
know me.
houses?
Everybody
They know
knows
you.
me. People know
In the
me.
beginning, you started. It was probably.
I
difficult.
started. Listen,
You had to weigh in.
I can't. I was doing what Hashem wanted, and I had tremendous siyata d'shmaya because for 30
Why
years.
did you decide to start a kollel? Like,
One of the gedolim in this world, the biggest person that lived in the last century,
yeah,
told me to be a Rosh Kollel.
what's his name?
Rav Dov Schwartzman. He was Rav Aaron Cutler's son-in-law,
Okay.
and you could ask your Rosh Hashiva Yaakov Friedman knew him very well.
I
And ask him about-
I know
ask
I
about
had a
Rav
Rosh
Dov.
Hashiva in Shar Yashuv, Rabbi Yeager.
Oh, Yeager, he was a Talmud of his.
He was close to.
He wrote me
Schwartzman.
Akdama in my sefer. Rabbi
You know, I
Yeager.
actually saw your sefer. It was in the hallways of a Shar Yashuv.
Yeah,
Believe it or not.
okay. So this is
I saw.
Rabbi
I didn't know
Yeager.
it was you. It didn't have an author's
me.
name on it.
Oh, it has my name on
It has your name on it. Oh, okay.
It's on the bottom. It's a small thing.
Okay.
So he pushed me into becoming Rosh Kollel. I didn't want to. He gave me a bracha, and for 30 years, I've been raising money, and I had a kollel for 29 years. Now it's like 33 years, I guess. But I had a kollel with one of the biggest poskim in Israel, that's Tzvi Weber. I wrote 3 of his sforim. The only 3 sforim were ever published, and I've sat and learned for the last 40 years. I've had tremendous schools that I've been in full time. Finished Shas several times. I've learned most of Shas Biyun and most of the Lakabin. I've given Smicha, Yoradeya. This particular thing that I'm doing right now, it's just, I feel an achrayus to this money because this person gave me this money and he wanted me to be able
Why
to
don't you
support
just
my
sell
kollel.
all the stocks now? And
Because
why do you
right
keep
now-
on doing it? Why do you keep on?
Well, I can't do it now because
persisting?
now things have gone down.
So just sell everything.
No, why should I
Because it can
sell?
go down more.
They won't. Listen, I believe that if a person, I believe, like it says in Chovos Levavos, that what's nigzar on Rosh Hashanah, you have to do a little bit of a shtadlus, and if you do riboy shtadlus, you will not see a kamali nima. You'll see no
But how do you know
to'elis.
what's considered riboy shabbos?
That's a good question. That every person has to know according to his own level of bitachon. So I've always been trusting Hashem, and right now I can tell you that if I was to take the money and just take it out of the market right now, so in 2 years that would be enough to support the call for 2 years,
Good.
and then I probably have to close the call because in 3 years, 4 years, I don't think I'm going to want to go to America 2-3 times a year anymore.
So the reason you're in the stock market now is because you want to earn money to keep the coal going for longer?
Yes.
Is that
And
what you wanna do?
no, I feel an achrayus because many times I think that a Kadosh Baruch Hu gives a person the ability to, that this money came to me. Now, I feel an achrayus to this money because it was given to tzedakah. So I can't just sell it and, I can tell you 3 stories that I know firsthand that money that was given to people either for tzedakah or for an inheritance on a condition, and the people did not accept the condition, and they lost all the money. 3 situations that I know personally that money was given to a person, one condition to open a kollel, he never opened a kollel. One, a tremendous amount of money was given through the person, the same person who gave me this money, gave a fortune of money to a Karen, to 2 people. There was supposed to be 3, but one of them stepped out. And he requested, this was, say, I don't want to say how much, but it's over $20 million to be given out to tzedakah in 1 year, within the year of his death. And the rabbi that was in charge of this, he's a big tzaddik. I don't want to say, I don't think anybody will figure out who it is. He went to the Gedolim and they told him it's so much money, $20 million in 1 year, invest it and build a Karen and give it out within 10 years. And then within 10 years for your Karen, you'll still have more money. You'll have more money, and then you'll be able to use this money to help Klal Yisrael for a long period of time. He listened to these Rabbanim. He lost all the money.
In the stock market?
No, in real estate.
Real estate, okay.
He lost almost all of it. Okay? Now, I think that I have no question, because there's a certain, if a person gives money on a condition, they want something to be done, you have no right. This person gave me the money and he only wanted me to use it for a kollel. I can't use it for my own private purposes. It's in a 501c account. Now, he wanted me to be able to sit and learn, and he wanted me to benefit from this money. And so I feel an achrayus to him.
The person who gave you the money told you that he wants you to invest it in stocks?
Yeah, no.
Or in bonds or whatever? I'm saying he didn't tell you that.
No.
So whose idea was it to invest all the money in the bonds and the stock
I went
market?
to Adam Godel and asked him if it was mutter. He told me it was mutter.
But it was your decision also.
Right.
Like,
Otherwise, the kollel would have been gone in 5 years.
because of your past experience and success
No,
in
because
the stock market?
at $1 million, in 1% interest from the bank, I would have taken out 10% every year to support the kollel.
Right.
And 10 years it would be gone. So I'm not sure it'll last more than 10 years anyway, because the market's been
So
bad.
it was 5 years ago, and how much are you down to now?
And I don't want to say. I don't want to
All
say
right, we're not
because
gonna talk
because
about
part
that.
of it, half of it is my brother's, and my brother has a very small kollel, and what he did with his half is I'm not responsible for.
Mhm.
So that I have nothing to do with. But in the meantime, I'm able to squeeze out, profits every month, and instead of lasting for 5 years, it's probably gonna last for 10 years. My half is only $500,000, and of that $500,000, I have at least half of it left.
Do you enjoy investing in the stock market? Does it give you like a rush?
No,
Doesn't give you a rush.
no. Sometimes you have to do it completely without emotions.
So for
Absolutely no
someone
emotions.
like you, like a
Like-
swing trader who's
Let's
been
give an example.
What-
One
what-
example, Mom,
oh,
after the
okay,
cold
yeah,
story.
there you go.
The only thing I did 2 things in my life. I didn't listen to my rules.
Okay.
One time, I had a stock that went up 300%.
Mm-hmm.
Upstart. It's a very good stock.
You deal with credit scores.
Right,
yeah.
right. And this stock, I didn't sell because there was a rumor that Warren Buffett was going to buy it, and Lamaisa, it went down from over $380. Now it's like $70 a share. And I wrote it all the way down, and because I always didn't believe it was going to go down so much. And this is one of these things that these growth stocks have become very unpopular. And I sold all my Motley Fool stocks because I couldn't see my money just go down to zero.
Did they give you the money back for the $1,400
No, because they still believe that if you wait 5 years,
So why
everything will
didn't
come
you
back.
wait the 5 years?
Because I'm telling you, this money I was using in order to make
You
more
knew
money.
originally you're going to have to use it. I'm saying.
Right, but
Why did you invest? If they
No,
told
so-
you it takes 5 years in order to see the
no,
profits.
because I took a very small percentage of the portfolio and put it in that. Of the say $500,000, I put 10%
Right.
into this money. Into this.
But
So-
why didn't you listen to them, and then it would go up? It would make you rich. You
because
never-
because
you'd
a
be able to
person
support the rest
can't
of
see
your life.
a person can't see his money go down so much. It's not healthy,
Uh-huh.
and nobody knows if they're right.
Do you worry about the stock
No.
portfolio a lot?
Not at all.
You don't lose any
No,
sleep over
no,
this.
not at all. But that was the one time I didn't listen to I should have taken my Karen out. Should have taken everything out except my original investment.
Did
And then I
someone
would
tell
have
you to
made.
take the money out at that
No,
time?
I can't. That's what I always do. But it kept going up, and once it started going down, I think that's going to go back up. I think so. Then another time there was a company called Hertz. Now Hertz is one of these companies that it used to be $20, $24 a share. It's the oldest car rental company in the United States. And during Corona, they went bankrupt. So before they went bankrupt, the stock went down to like $1, and then all of a sudden I noticed one day it's going up, 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 up. It went up to $4. So I put in $25,000 into Hertz because I was sure that's it.
Did someone give you advice to do this?
No,
or you just
no.
do
That's the only time. This I did an emotional. The only time I ever did anything like this in my life. Okay.
That was a lot of money. Okay.
So one day I'm looking at the portfolio, and I can't believe it. Hertz is not in the portfolio.
Oh, no.
So I can't. So I call up Fidelity, and I say, "What happened to Hertz?"
Yeah.
It went down to 25 cents
Wow.
because it went off the New York Stock Exchange and went to the over-the-counter market.
Oh, wow.
And my portfolio only shows stocks on the New York Stock Exchange because I knew they were going to go bankrupt, but all of a sudden it started going up. So I figured they're going to work out and it never really went bankrupt. Hertz was always open. So then I started listening, and I listened to Jim Cramer said, when a company goes bankrupt, this is also halacha l'maisa. If you own stocks, you do not have to, that sell chametz, you don't have to sell them on Pesach. That's what Rabbi Yashiv holds.
Stock is okay.
Yeah, you can own, you can own McDonald's hamburgers, even though it's usher to have hana from basar b'chalav together. Maybe it's not derisive because it's nevela, but because you don't have any real ownership of a stock. Okay. You have no way of showing I own $10,000 of Hertz. I'm going to go to the office of Hertz. I'm going to take 5 pencils or my percentage. You can never show your ownership. The biggest ownership you have is when they have a stockholders meeting, you have a vote. You can choose who's on that's not called real ownership. Rav Elyashiv holds there's no problem of stocks that have chametz because you don't have any real ownership. And that I think is, to me, it's pashut like that. So so Jim Cramer said, and this is a proof of Rav Elyashiv, that when a stock goes bankrupt, the last people of the stock that will ever get anything back are the owners of the stock, because a company like Hertz goes bankrupt. So they owe money to the bank, they owe money to their bali chop, I don't know how you say it in English. Other people, the creditors. So the creditors have the first rights. And the last rights, people have the shareholders because they don't really have any ownership. It's a proof to Rav Elyashiv. So when I heard this Jim Cramer say this, so he said, "Listen, Hertz, forget it." So I got nervous, and I said, "This is the only time I ever did anything like."
Sold.
So no, listen. So I waited. It went up slowly. Went up to like $1.75, and I took the only really big loss I ever took in my life, because I was sure it's going to go down to zero because it's really going to go bankrupt. Now, if I would have been patient, Hertz was bought out by somebody, and it was the only time in the history, I think, of these things that the guy that bought it out paid $8 for every share. So right away it went up to 7, and today it's up at 22, 23. So if I just would have kept that $25,
would you have sold it now if you had $22? You're selling or not? You're selling. You'd sell today.
In a minute.
Even though your experience with Upstart, where you didn't sell.
No, so I'm saying, hindsight is always the best sight. You can never, but all you can do is learn about the market. You have to listen right now. The growth stocks. Right now, I put a lot of money in an ETF in oil companies. I forget what it's called, but it's the biggest ETF of oil stocks. It's gone up tremendously, and because as soon as the war in Ukraine started, everybody said that the Fed now is going to raise the interest rates today or tomorrow, and basically that's been really hitting the market. The idiots in the American economy has been printing up money without anything backing the money, and that's what stopped the market from falling apart during the Corona situation. And as a result of that, the economy, we have runaway inflation. I bought gold. I have some gold, physical gold, and I believe, I know that freshwater.
Where'd you buy physical gold?
I bought gold coins.
Bullions?
Yeah, and it hasn't gone up in the meantime. But I can tell you that Freshwater, the big kavir in England, made all of his money during the war. He bought gold, and with the gold he bought during the war, he bought real estate, and everybody was running away from England. And that made him one of the richest people in all of England. Mm-hmm. So Chazal say that the Zuz is called the Zuz because it moves around. So especially during wars, especially during crises, this is a time when a lot of people lose all their money. People in Ukraine, they lost all their possessions. And at the same time, there's going to be the market has gone down about 18% in the last since the beginning of the year. The NASDAQ is down. Most NASDAQ stocks are down 50%, and the ones that were really the high flyers are down 70%. And I don't know if they'll ever come back.
One thing, swing trading, which is I didn't really explain. Swing trading is basically you hold on the stock for multiple days or months, and then you sell when you make a profit.
A big profit.
Right? Your rules at down 5%, you'd sell. Up 25%, you sell.
20%,
right?
Yeah.
I also
You can consistently do that. You'll come out.
This guy, remember the guy you talked about who started with $3,000? He made $40 million. What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name?
He has a YouTube channel.
What's his name?
Meat Cabin.
Meat Cabin. So I'm the new Meat Cabin. I'm trying to do this because I want to earn. I really want to earn a living. I want to earn a living, and I believe swing trade. He did it through swing trading, no?
I'm not sure exactly, but he knows a lot about the stock market. I never listened to his whole story. I listened to a bunch of people, and he knows what he's talking about. I'm very impressed by him. I think he really has a finger on what's going on, and you have to pay him to get his personal. He was in a lot of the stocks that I was in. Today, I think he's only in like 3 stocks. Tesla for sure is one of them.
So that's what you have to do. And if you want to be a successful swing trader, you take all your money, you put it in a stock, you wait a couple days till it goes up, you sell, and then you take all those profits, you put it in another stock.
Right.
Of course, you can't sell when it goes down. You have to wait till it goes down. You're stuck. You got your money tied up. For example, I have my money tied up in Twitter now, where I bought the stocks where it's sold. Elon Musk right now.
Twitter's not such. He said people do not suggest to buy Twitter. Just so you know,
because
you're only going to make 10%, and there's a good chance that the FEC or they're going to not allow him to buy it. Yeah. In which case, it's going to go down a lot.
I'm not advocating people buying Twitter, but I did buy it. That's all I'm saying. I bought it. I bought it at $51, actually.
So you can only go up to 54.
Right, exactly. But I expected. I didn't understand the parameters of how it works. I'm also not an expert in this. I thought the deal's gonna go through, and tomorrow we're gonna get the money, $54.20 for each share. I bought 42 shares, so my money's tied up in Twitter. So right now I'm on hold. I can't do anything right now.
So I could just tell you that Mr. Kevin over here said that it could be. That there's going to be some kind of a way that you're going to be able to keep your shares and not sell them, because nobody puts an investment to make 5%. You're going to make 10%. It's not worth it to take such a risk for 10%. It's not. Why? It's a risk. It's not a guaranteed thing. Mm-hmm. But now they're talking about that maybe Elon Musk is going to give the original shareholders an opportunity to hold on to their stock. Yeah. And in 3 years, he's going to change the whole company around. And then it's going to be worth more. It's going to be worth 5 times what it is. It's going to be worth $100 a share. So that's a reason maybe to buy Twitter, and because Elon Musk is not a stupid person, and Elon Musk is one of the most brilliant minds. No, but he's a very brilliant technician, and he really understands. See, I bought Tesla not because it's a car company. He invented artificial intelligence. He reinvented the solar battery. And everybody that I used to talk to people 10 years ago that were in, and my son, I have a son that's in real estate in New York. Mm-hmm. He told me about Tesla. I bought Tesla, and I bought Tesla at, I don't know what it was. It split, and I sold it when it got to $800. I bought it before it split. I made. I don't know how much, but I made a lot of money.
How much? Give me an estimate, like
300%, maybe more than that.
So you're always talking in percents. How many dollars did you make?
I don't know. That was one of the things.
This is the thing I look at when swing trading. Everyone's like talking percent. I say when you make, let's say I give you make $100. That's $100. It's a lot of money. You make $100 in a couple of days. That's a lot of money.
If you would have put your money in Apple, just kept it in Apple, $100 in the beginning of Apple today would be worth, I think, a few $1 million.
But that's at the beginning of a company. I'm only investing in blue chip stocks.
So you'll never make that kind of money in blue chip stocks.
Listen, for example, it works out. No, listen. You take Apple. Let's say Apple. You buy it today. Let's say Apple, right? You buy it today. You put $3,000 in Apple. Let's say how much is that? That's like $150. That's maybe like 20 shares, right?
Today is 20 shares. It's gone up. The highest it's ever been is 180.
Okay, but listen to this. Listen to the strategy. You buy 20 shares of Apple, right? That's all you have is $3,000. You put 20 shares of Apple. Now, you predict right, it goes up $5 a share. So now you made $5 times 20, $100. 2 days later, you sell. You made $100. So now you move on. You sell all of your shares. Now you have $3,100. Eventually, the money compounds, and you're able to make it big, like this guy who made $30-40 million on swing trading.
But he didn't-
This
he
is
did
my
not
theory
buy
of the
blue
stock
chip stocks.
market.
If you're going to do that, it's better just to put the money in
You
the
put
S&P
the-
and just wait, because the way you make really big money
So how
is to
could you
pick the stock
Yeah.
like the Apple before it becomes the Apple, to buy
But those-
Tesla
but
at
most of
100
those
and
don't
wait.
turn out. Those are penny stocks.
No,
They're-
not penny stocks. You have to buy stocks.
These are the ones the Motley
For
Fool is
example,
telling you to buy.
right,
No.
right. Almost all of the portfolio, I had it written down. Most of the stocks
So
are
how much of your
67%.
portfolio is blue chip stocks? How much of your portfolio?
Half of the portfolio is very, very stable stocks, because
blue
that's
chip,
my
and
brother's
half
money.
is not. Oh, but
Half-
that's your brother. Well, your
Right.
money. How much is in blue chip stocks?
Now I
And
have
how
it in
much
an
is it
oil fund. I have it in.
What percentage is in blue chip? Is stable stuff? What percentage?
I would say right now, because of the situation, let's say 80% is in stocks right now that are not going to get hit as bad as other stocks, and 20% is still in high tech, still
Blue
in the
chip.
Nasdaq,
The blue chip.
in the blue. No, Nasdaq. Nasdaq is not blue
tech.
chip. It's nothing to do with blue
Not
chip.
like- yeah, there are
But
some blue
Nasdaq
chip
has
stocks,
been hit so bad that I
So
left.
the 80% is in stocks that are
There-
like unknown stocks. to most
Nvidia, no,
people?
Nvidia,
Nvidia's
Apple,
a-
Tesla. There's a oil ETF. I bought a little bit of AMC because I personally believe that America's that the movie theaters are always going to be good, and I was based. I did make money.
What do you mean? YouTube is the new movie theater. What are you talking about? The movie theaters are gone. YouTube is what's
That's not
coming
true.
now. It's going to be new. I'm predicting YouTube is going to be the next form of entertainment for the coming
I
generation.
have no
It's going to
idea.
be they're gonna
This
build it
guy
up.
Adam, his name is. He's a Jewish guy,
Yeah.
and he owns AMC. He's
Yeah.
the CEO of AMC. I heard him speak, and I just want to say a Misa, and then I have to go to my car. I didn't
Okay,
think I would speak so long,
No, it's
but
good.
this
It's
is a good
always to
story.
hear,
I'm not one of the biggest Gedolim in America that ever lived. I don't want to say who because it might be. He came to America. Now this somebody told me. He's a very old. He's an older man. First-hand story. He's 93 years old. This person, and somebody came from Shanghai after the war, from Shanghai, and he came to America. Didn't speak a word of English. They made a shidduch with him with an American girl. She spoke Yiddish, and they had nothing in common. Absolutely nothing in common.
Right.
So they went to the Gadlador, and the Gadlador, he asked him, what am I going to do with this? He said, don't worry. Every Sunday, take her to a movie.
Who's the Gadol?
I don't want to say. I don't want to say. One of the Gedoli.
Moshe Feinstein?
I don't want to say. It could have been either.
Ah,
It
say
could have
that
been either
there.
Rav Aaron Kotler, Moshe Feinstein, or Yaakov Kamenetsky.
So one of those three.
One of those three.
Okay,
It was
good.
one of
All
those
right, there
three.
we go. All right.
Because
Yes.
it might be a Ganai. This person who I'm talking about,
Yeah.
he didn't speak English.
Okay.
It was the Gadlador,
Mhm.
which could be said about all three of these people.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So what
his
did he tell
eitzah
him?
was, take your wife to a movie every Sunday. Now,
This
so
is the 19.
this is 1950.
50s.
No, 1950.
The
19
golden
right after the
age
war.
of cinema.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
in those days there wasn't such preachers in movies, and mistama you could buy popcorn and butter is always kosher. So I don't think there's any problem about buying
You didn't
popcorn
go to
and
the ones
butter.
with Marilyn Monroe, did he?
I have no idea. So this person told me that he knows his children, his grandchildren. He has great grandchildren today, and every single one of them are not only from they're yeshivish.
Mhm.
And this is just he wanted to show me because he was coming to say because what did he want to tell me? He wanted so that you can learn two things from this story. First of all, people think that Gedolim don't know. This is a person that never learned English.
Would a Gadol in
Wait,
Eretz Yisrael ever
Rav
say
Moshe
something like
Feinstein
that
didn't know
today?
English.
Yeah.
Rav Aaron Kotler didn't know English.
Oh, yeah.
And Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, I don't know if he knew English. But even though they didn't speak English, they knew enough of the American culture to know that part of the American culture was going to a movie. Okay? And they knew this would be a good eitzah, and it was a tremendous eitzah.
Would a Gadol nowadays ever say someone go to a movie? Even a PG
No,
movie?
No,
or a G
no,
movie?
I doubt it.
They would never say that.
No, because they wouldn't say they have
do
an
you think
iPhone.
it's changed? You think times
No,
have changed?
Vada, you don't know exactly. Every Gadol would say don't have internet, or have internet with only filters that filter everything out.
Mhm.
So that's what every Gadol says. So now the other thing you can learn from this is that and this is what this guy was telling me, and that's why I bought AMC. I still own AMC, is because the movies is part of, and I'm an American. My family, my great-great-grandfather was a very famous Rav. He came from Poland. And he came to America in 1847 to Colorado. And his daughter married my great-grandfather, who came from Manchester. And they were talking, and my mother's side, they all came from Russia in 1903. So I'm a real American. Part of the American culture are movies.
What's your favorite movie?
I know I haven't been to a movie for 50 years. I don't know. I haven't.
When you used to go to movies, what was your favorite movie?
I don't even know.
Do you know the name of you?
I could just tell you.
What movie do you know?
I'll tell you. No. I could only tell you one thing. My very good friend, this I'll say on your podcast, on your thing, YouTube, is Yaakov Asher Sinclair. He's a Talmud of mine. He was in my Kollel.
Yeah.
And the movies that he made are some of the best movies. He made a movie together with Elizabeth Taylor. He wrote the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Which one?
The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
He wrote it.
Uh-huh.
He was in the Days of Our Life. He produced the rock band Foreigner. And those type of movies are the movies that
what were those movies rated?
I don't know. I have no idea. They weren't rated more than
PG.
No. Rocky Horror Picture Show was probably rated. No, it was PG. It was PG for sure.
PG.
It was a crazy movie. So,
but I'm just saying. Advice to make movies. Like you're like right.
I'm going to say one other thing.
Rosh Kollel told you to be a Rosh Kollel. That rabbi wasn't there. Schwartzman told you to be Rosh Kollel.
So I'm just telling you.
You're telling me them to make movies.
No, I didn't tell. No. He doesn't make movies. He makes tremendous YouTubes. Yaakov Asher Sinclair. Look him up. Yaakov Asher Sinclair is fantastic. I watch him.
Not as good as Ben Seal Lang, right?
Well, he's before he became about Tshuva, he was in movies with Elizabeth Taylor. He was on the Days of Our Life for 7 years.
Days of Our Life.
He did everything he could do.
The soap opera. Right?
Yeah. So and the only thing I could tell you is that if you have an ability to be mashpia on people, so you could make movies. That Rav Arn Feldman.
That's what I'm doing. I'm making movies. YouTube is the new theater for the upcoming generation.
If you have 1 million people watching, you can make good money on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to thank you for coming on.
Okay,
and
so
I
thought it was in 5 minutes.
I know. You can talk for a long time. You're really good at talking. People like listening to you. I know they like listening to you. But it's just last parting word. I just want to, because we tie this in so many things. We're talking about how he supports a kollel. He's paying almost $150,000 a year out to his kollel, and because he wants the buttress that he wants the new kollel, except the new avreichim.
No, we have 17 avreichim.
17 avreichim. So you're paying them, and you're paying 3,000 shekel a month, right?
Yeah, 3,000 shekel a month. Yeah.
So that's more, but you're paying only 2,400 because of that total you're paying.
Yeah, right.
So you're only paying. So how much are you paying a month now? Now you're paying more than $12,000 a month.
It's a good $12,000 a month.
Good $12,000.
I never make a cheshbon, and I work in the future. Kilo every month I make it. I don't look back.
So because he's supporting a Rosh Kollel, and apparently we found out today.
And I married all 8 of my children.
Out of 9 children.
I only bought my first daughter of Dira, but a Kodesh Baruch was Misader. So in the end of the day, all my children have apartments.
They all own their apartments. Yeah. That's amazing. It's really amazing. Obviously, and to clarify, the Rosh Kollel, he supports the Kollel. He believes you should have money, use it to support Torah. It's not called taking stuff to collect, and money that's called Shabbos also.
No, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us money to do mitzvahs. The biggest chus you can do with tzedakah is to support Talmidei Chachamim. It's a Rambam.
But is it tzedakah, the money you're taking?
It's supporting Talmidei Chachamim.
But is it tzedakah money? Because
the highest level of tzedakah is to support Talmidei Chachamim.
But you said that you're supposed to do shtalos, you're not supposed to take tzedakah.
No, myself.
Yeah, you yourself, but you're collecting in America.
No,
you're paying these avreichim.
Listen, I took on a financial obligation that I'm running a kollel.
So you say you're on a different level than the people that are learning under your kollel because they're just taking tzedakah.
They're not taking tzedakah.
They're not.
They're being paid bittul malacha. They're getting paid a certain amount of money instead of going out and working. And we're very particular with our kollel. We only take avreichim that are very serious.
Very serious.
I think you could say that you see the people in the kollel, they sit and learn.
They're very serious. Not like me, who just lounges around the whole day and just plays with this camera.
Yaakov Friedman is a good friend of mine. I'm a little bit older than he is. We grew up together. I knew his father. My mother went to school with his mother. And Yaakov Friedman is a chashuv person. And I agree. I guarantee you that Yaakov would say everything about supporting Torah and tzedakah.
No,
There's all things that Yaakov says.
Of course, listen, he does the same thing. He has a yeshiva.
He goes around. I meet him.
He goes around to America.
We stay the
2 or
same
3
people.
times a
We
year.
stay with the same.
So you know him very well. I
him.
used to know him very well. I'm not so close to him anymore. I used to be closer to him, but
he has a brother, 2 brothers. One's a tzaddik, one's a rebbe. One married Rav Shlomo Tversky's daughter from Denver, and he is an Admor Amiti, the Hornsteipler Rebbe. He's really, I think they came from a
literature. He moved to
family.
Beitar also.
Yeah,
His Freeman lives.
He lives in
brother
Beitar.
and him are.
Yeah, and then he has a third brother,
Yeshivas of
Duvi, who's
Beitar,
my age, and Duvi is an artist
and
in
Sfas,
Sfas.
right?
And Duvi and I grew up together.
All right.
Duvi, you won't probably see this, but hello, Duvi.
He's
changed a lot. Duvi's gone through metamorphosis. You wouldn't believe.
This is going to be big, but because we got to venture into stock market, and you do support the notion of investing in stocks, it could help you, right?
But listen, if you don't know what you're doing, you lose your shirt.
What are your picks for today? What are your picks? Just let's end it with your picks for today. Of course, it's at your own risk. We don't bear any responsibility for.
I personally would wait until Tesla goes down below 860 and buy Tesla. And hold on to Tesla. It's going to go back
just
up.
Tesla.
Just Tesla.
Just Tesla.
Apple is a good buy. Buy Apple and don't sell it. That's
Apple
what Jim Kramer always says. And Apple
but if you're a swing
down.
trader,
No, Apple's down a lot. There's no swing trading right now because the market could go lower. The market is like 2 days was like a little bit better, but the market right now is probably going to go down another 10% in all likelihood because of the Fed and there probably is in all likelihood going to be a recession. Oil is maybe good right now, and Costco is a very good company. I don't understand why it's gone down. I would buy Costco. You want one stock to buy right now? Probably go up 10% is Costco.
Buy Costco. Costco stock.
Costco. It's $520 a share.
Do you think that who have my $3,000, will become the next what's his name? Meet Kevin? And I'll have $30-40 million in the bank within a year?
No.
Do you bet on me? You're not betting on me?
Listen, I wouldn't invest if you learned it like that.
Who's a better investor, me or Wittow? We'll find out in the coming year. All right, but thank you so much for joining us.
I'll tell you what. I'll put $3,000 aside.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll take right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I will take Bli Netter $3,000 today.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will put it aside. We'll call it what's the name of your YouTube thing?
Benzin
Lane. So this will be the
Glock kosher money.
Glock kosher money. So right now I will take $3,000 and I will do something specific with it. And in 1 year, we'll see whose $3,000 went further. My $3,000 or your $3,000, okay?
We're going to have updates every couple of months.
It could be right now, I would just buy Ethereum. I don't know.
He wants to buy
Ethereum
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I never bought cryptocurrency.
What are you going to do with the 2,000?
No, because I feel like this guy Munger, he's 90, Charlie Munger, he's 98 years old, and he says that Bitcoin is not worth a penny. And because I don't understand...
Ethereum? Why do you want Ethereum?
All the cryptocurrencies, I don't understand exactly how it works. And everybody says there's going to be all kinds of rules and regulations that's going to greatly inhibit the way people did make a lot of money, because right now it's not taxable and every government wants to tax the profits people are making. Right now people can hide their money in cryptocurrency, and that ability is going to go away. It could be it's going to be the money of the future, but I personally people have tried to explain it to me. I've listened. I don't understand how it works. And it basically has no intrinsic value. And therefore, I personally put $5,000 in gold coins. And I personally, you're supposed to put 5% of your money in physical gold and 5% of your money in crypto. That's what Jim Kramer says. And I didn't do the crypto because I don't understand it. And so you don't understand. I don't do puts. I don't do futures. Because I don't understand exactly how it works. It's too complicated. I try and choose a company that I believe in. I watch it for a long time.
So what are you going to pick for your $3,000 little bet over here? What are you going to pick?
I haven't decided yet. I have to think about it. Because right now the market's too volatile. There's so many beaten down stocks. And maybe
I'll put in right now. No,
maybe I'll
just.
A good
you know
time.
What? I put in my money 2 months ago, and it's gone down a lot.
So you know what?
So I'm in the red now.
Right now, I'm gonna reveal what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take $3,000 of Upstart.
Yeah.
And that's going to be today, however much it's worth. I'm gonna start with $3,000 in Upstart. then maybe I would,
And that's against my $3,000 and
Yeah.
whatever I've
because I still
invested in.
believe in Upstart. And there's a few companies.
Most of my
Sophie
money's
is
in
supposed to be
Twitter
really
right
good.
now, actually. If you want to know
Sophie,
where my-
SOFI, is supposed to be very good. It went down tremendously. And the other thing is that I used to read a lot of science fiction, and I really believe in the metaverse. And I put a lot of money. I put a lot of money in Facebook. I sold it at a small profit.
You know
Put a
what?
lot of money in another company called, I forgot the name of the company, and it's gone down more than 50%.
Did you ever try looking in the metaverse? You ever know what's inside?
Sure, I know what the
there?
metaverse
You
is.
have to put on those goggles. You went
No, but I
inside.
know. Listen. I believe in the metaverse, and I am sure
It's kind of creepy that the metaverse.
the
I don't
metaverse
know.
is a Gavaldic thing.
Gavaldic thing. No. Metaverse is like cryptocurrency of like.
No,
the
no,
world.
it's not cryptocurrency. The metaverse is you can
I know
have
what
an
it is.
so
I
people
don't
are
think-
selling real estate in the metaverse.
Yeah, NFTs. It's not going to work out. I don't believe in it. Hey, maybe you put your money in
I had a lot of
put
money.
It in Meta.
No, I had it in Meta. I had
Put it in,
a big position in Meta.
Okay.
Okay, and I sold it at basically a 2% profit because I got nervous. I took my money out of it because my other stocks that were connected to the metaverse went down 50-60%.
So why are you so buoyant
Because-
on the metaverse over here?
Again, because if you understood the stock market, right now people are putting their money into value stocks and growth stocks because of inflation. People, it has lost the favor of the investors because these are companies that in the future are going to be worth more money. But if there's going to be 25% inflation, right now there's inflation. It's unbelievable. The inflation continues. If a stock is going to go up and it's going to be worth 15% more, it's not making profits now at 50%, 15% next year. So inflation is going to be more than 15%. You're not going to make anything. So people completely, these companies have all fallen apart. So
now's a good time to put your money in the stock market. No, the market's down.
listen, if you didn't have money in the stock market, I could tell you exactly what to
So
buy right now.
you go today, put your money in Upstart whenever you get a chance.
No, it's in.
All right.
It's at $3,000 in
$3,000
Upstart.
Upstart versus my $3,000, which is mostly involved in Twitter, but I do.
I wouldn't buy
swing
Twitter
trade.
right now.
It's my money's stuck in Twitter, so I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to sell at a loss. I bought it $51. Now at $49.50.
The most it could go up to is $54.
Yeah, exactly. You're
So
right.
you're stuck. You know.
I'm stuck. I'm
Don't
stuck
worry.
right now. I'm in a bad position.
Nvidia
And I
is down
have Apple,
30%.
and I have AMD, and I have Simon Property Groups, and I have.
That's a good company.
I have what's the other one I have? I have
Okay.
Microsoft.
Say
Right?
okay.
This is what my $3,000 against your Upstart $3,000.
Okay,
Come
we'll
back in a year. This is the competition of the year.
Okay, all right, 100%.
All right. Thank you so much, Rabbi Wittow, for coming on the show.
Be well. Okay, Mirza
All
Shem.
right, everyone. Have
Call
a
too.
good day. Bye.